What's up, guys? It's me, Tony G, coming to you from live casino and hotel. This is episode 70 of my vlog. In this episode, we're here for the Sunday morning Fat Stacks bounty tournament. It's a $120 tournament, and you start out with 30,000 in chips. If you knock somebody out, you get a $25 bounty chip. I hope you guys enjoy it. Here we go. And before we get started, if you guys are returning subscribers, thanks for coming back. I appreciate the support. Thanks for watching all the vlogs. And if you're new here, do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you get notified of all my vlogs. I appreciate you guys subscribing. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Like I said, let's go win some money. Okay, after playing a couple hands, the blinds are 100, 200. I have the ace of diamonds, the jack of hearts, and the big blind. The under the gun raises it to 500. It does get a couple calls. It gets to me. I decide just a flat call, and we are 4 ways to the flop. The flop comes out the ace of hearts, the king of diamonds, and the 10 of spades. I have a pair of aces, and with the top pair, I decided to go ahead and put a bet of 600. The under the gun calls, 2 people fold, and we are now heads up to the turn at this point. The turn is a little bit of a scary card. It's the king of hearts. If the under the gun has a king in his hand, he could have trip kings, but I check, and he actually checks to the river, which makes me feel a little bit better about the king. The river is the 8 of spades. I check my cards, decide to put out a bet of 600. He tanks for a good 10 or 15 seconds. Looks at me and says, "You have a king, don't you?" Looks at his cards again and then folds, and we take down that pot. Okay, the next level, now I have the 7 of spades, the 6 of diamonds. I'm in the big blind, and the blinds are 200, 300 with a 300 big blind ante. A couple people call, and it does get back to me. I decide to check my option. We are 3 ways to the flop. The flop comes out the king of diamonds, the ace of hearts, and the queen of spades. It does check around to the turn. There's still 3 of us. The turn is the 9 of hearts. It doesn't change too much. Again, it does check to the river. The river is a brick for anybody, I believe. It's the 3 of clubs. After I look at my cards, I decide to throw out a bet of 600 to see if I can get everybody to fold. One person folds, the other guy calls, and he's got a 9 high for the win. I started recording later on this hand, but I have the best hand of all of poker. I have the ace of diamonds, the ace of clubs. I'm in the big blind. Blinds, I think, were 200, 400 in level 4. I made it 1,200 to go. Again, I was in the big blind. It winds up going heads up to the flop, and the flop is the queen of clubs, the 9 of spades, and the jack of spades. I decide to put out a bet of 1,200 again to see if the guy in middle position will call. He basically snap called at that point, and the turn doesn't change too much. It's the 4 of hearts, and after he snap called the first time, I decided to go ahead and bet 1,600. He didn't snap call this time, but did decide to call the 1,600 after some thought. And then the river, again, didn't change anything. It is the 6 of diamonds. I then throw out a bet of 1,600, and I'll let you guys listen to how the rest of the hand went.
Well, I've been stayed in this long. You got a weak queen?
No. I got aces.
Aces. Even better. Yeah. Good thing I didn't 3-bet 3 flop. Almost good.
All right, break number 1. I got about 53 or 54K. Blinds are coming back to 500, 1,000. And currently I'm about 2nd or 3rd in lead of chips at the table. Let's see if we can keep this going, run it up. Here we go. Okay, in the first hand after break, the blinds are 500, 1,000, 1,000 big blind ante. I have the ace of diamonds, the 3 of spades. I'm in the small blind. And I'm going to warn you, this is one of those hands where I get way out of line, or maybe not. Leave your comment down below and let me know. The under the gun raises to 2,500. It gets to me, I call the 2,500, and the big blind calls the 2,500, and we are now 3 ways to the flop. The flop is the king of diamonds, the 10 of spades, and the 9 of clubs. I throw out a bet of 5,000. The big blind flicks his cards and folds. The under the gun calls, we're heads up, and the turn is the 2 of diamonds. I bet 10,000. The under the gun looks at his cards, kind of nods, and calls the 10K. And the river is great for me. I thought it's the ace of hearts. I decide to down bet to 3,000. The under the gun then decides to raise that 3,000 to 20,000. And with a set of aces, I just couldn't find myself fold. And I say, okay, I guess I call the 20,000. He then flips over his cards, queen, jack of hearts for the straight, and we lose a very big pot. Okay, so I was a little tilted after that last hand, so we're in the next level actually. 600, 1,200 with a 1,200 big blind ante. I'm in middle position with king of hearts, the 10 of spades. Couple people fold, the small blind and the button fold. It gets around to me, and I decide to throw out a bet of 4,000. Only the big blind calls, and we are heads up to the flop. The flop is very favorable. It's the king of clubs, the 3 of spades, and the 10 of hearts. I put out another bet of 4,000. The big blind does call, and the turn is even better than the flop. It's the king of diamonds, giving me the full house at this point. I decided to go all in. Looking back now, I probably should have bet probably 8 or 10,000 to get the guy to call. And he asks for a count. After the dealer gets him a count, he says, I fold. And that is that, but we do take down a pot with full house, which was kind of nice after that ace-3 hand. my night, unfortunately. It's level 6 or 7 now. It's 1,500, 3,000 big blind ante. I have the ace of diamonds, the king of clubs. I am in the small blind. It gets around to me. I throw out a bet of 6,000 with about 35,000 behind at this point. I did win a couple hands after level 5. Everybody folds except for middle position. Middle position decides to call the 6,000, and we are heads up to the flop. The flop isn't terrible. It's the ace of clubs, the queen of diamonds, and the queen of spades. With 2 queens out there, the likelihood of a guy having another queen isn't that good, so I do check though, and middle position bets 6,000. I call the 6,000, and the turn is the 5 of hearts. With control of the pot, I decide to go ahead and throw out a large bet of 15,000. The middle position double checks how much I put out because he's on the far side of the table. He raises it to 30,000, believe it or not. I then tank for a little bit, and I guess my brain got the best of me because I wasn't listening to my gut. My gut was telling me he might have had a queen, even though I said I didn't think he did. I go all in. He then snap calls. River is no help. It's the 4 of hearts. He shows me queen of clubs, 3 of diamonds, and he's got me covered, and we are out of the tournament.
And we are out in 60th place out of 208 entries. They were paying 27 people. Made some bad mistakes in the middle of the game. Then that last hand was just terrible. The guy flopped a straight. I had ace king, and the flop was queen 10. The flop was queen jack 9. So I was chasing the straight myself, but he had already flopped it. What are you going to do? I guess better luck next time. And remember, it doesn't matter how you're living your life, as long as you're living the film.